Hello, everyone. Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Green Lantern Beware My Power, a new animated film from Warner Brothers and DC Comics, released in 2022. It should be released digitally as of you watching this video because I just finished watching this movie. The movie has a runtime of 1 hour and 28 minutes. There are no Rotten Tomatoes scores as of the moment, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. The movie is directed by Jeff Wemester, with writing by Ernie Altbacker and John Semper. This centers around John Stewart, the Green Lantern, created by Denny O'Neil and the Neil Adams. Unfortunately, both of those creators recently passed in the last few years. Neil Adams very recent as well. So I hope that Neil got to at least watch some of this film. That would be fun to know. Let me give you a quick rundown of the premise. I won't go too much into spoilers, which is another reason I won't mention a lot of the cast because that would give you probably a lot of spoilers. So, former Marine John Stewart, played by Aldous Hodge, is struggling to fit back into society after a tour of duty in Afghanistan. The lingering scars of war don't help, but his life is turned upside down when a dying Guardian of the Universe grants him a Green Lantern power ring, making him the last living Lantern. John, with the help of Green Arrow, played by Jimmy Simpson, investigates the mystery behind the death of the Green Lantern Corps, and also to prevent a war between the planets of Thanagar, that's where the Hawk people live, and Ran. Yeah, as I mentioned, this movie stars Aldous Hodge and Jimmy Simpson as Green Lantern, aka John Stewart, and Green Arrow, aka Oliver Queen, respectively. Overall, I had fun with this movie. I think it took a little while for the movie to get going. This definitely feels like intro to Green Lantern 101. Um, and I think because they're trying to establish, first of all, who is John Stewart as an individual, as a human without his powers, then the origin story of John Stewart, and then the conflict that John Stewart must live through. All that stuff kind of gets crammed into this 1 hour and 28 minutes. I almost wish that we we had we had skipped the origin story because I feel like John Stewart is so well known. But then again, it does tie back into some of the motivations in the story. So, yeah, I don't know if there's a quick or easy fix other than maybe adding some runtime. But overall, I had a good time. John Stewart is one of my favorite Green Lanterns, right after Kyle Rayner. But John Stewart is the one I watched growing up in the Justice League animated series, and I'm just very glad to see him at the forefront here, especially in the story where the Green Lantern Corps is gone and he's now the only one around. I love his interaction with Green Arrow. Green Lantern and Green Arrow have always been very closely tied in the comics, but it's been usually Hal Jordan. So I love that in this adaptation we're kind of switching that. It's definitely, this is just a buddy cop movie, right? Where you have the straight edge John Stewart, and then the more wild Green Arrow. Although they kind of flip back and forth in those roles, I think it's really interesting choice to make the characters more well rounded by actually being like they react differently in different situations. Um, I love all the stuff from the comics. I mean, the Thanagar Rand conflict has been definitely something that we've seen in the past, and kind of using that same conflict to bring back and have John deal with some of his own issues from his time during the war, and grow past that. I think it's very interesting. I think they could have done some more stuff a little bit better, but overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I mean, I think WB Animation, for the most part, they really nail the movies. Um, and because I don't know if this is part of their larger animated universe, they're kind of rebooting everything at the time. So it does feel a little bit disconnected, which I think actually benefits the film. I think it because it doesn't have to play within this larger universe, everything just kind of happens and fits in perfectly. So yeah, it's about time we got a good John Stewart movie. I think Aldous Hodge does a good performance to bring this character to life. There were some moments in some of these scenes that the voices kind of felt a little wooden to me, like where they were not there. I don't know, there was something missing, like maybe a chemistry between some of these characters. So but overall I think the leads really nail it, including some of the people that we see later on come into the fold. And yeah, this just looks like a great example of how to do a Green Lantern movie without having to involve the Green Lantern whole mythology, but it's still showing you kind of some of those aspects that the people love. So, very cool moments in the film. Really cool fights. I think the villains that they've chosen were ambitious, and I think they really nail that. So the conflict, like once you get there, I think you'll enjoy that. So overall, if I would say, if you don't need to see this immediately, I would just wait a few weeks or maybe a couple of months until this hits HBO Max streaming. But it's definitely worth your time to get at some point. So I watched it because I love all this stuff. So I usually get all these movies right away to not only cover in the podcast, but to make sure that I just really like WB animation. So I will. They've earned my trust that most of these movies will be good, even if everyone's they falter in an adaptation. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe. You can find my full score on my letterbox. So we'll put that in the link in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. So thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.